There are a lot of browser-based live streaming tools these days. You got StreamYard, Restream, and Melon that are pretty well known. But there is a new guy on the block that has some amazing features. And these features are all included in the free version, not behind some paywall either. And I think you're really gonna love it. So the new browser-based streaming tool I'm talking about is called EVMux. There's a link in the description so you can check it out. And I think if you use another browser-based streaming app, it's definitely worth a look for sure. Let's dive in now and take a look, and I'll show you how it works. So this is the EVMux website, and we're just gonna go up. You can sign up. It's a really simple process. I'm just gonna sign in. It brings us up to this when we first sign in. So you can create a single broadcast or multiple sessions. It really depends on how you wanna work it. Obviously fast access to the studio, so you can go live fast is the single broadcast. So let's just set this one up and we'll call it test. We'll go to our studio. Now, the first time you come in here, you may or may not have your camera stuff loaded in. You may have to give it permissions. It will come up and ask you for permissions to your camera and your microphone and all that stuff, just like all of the other ones would. And we have our dynamic scene right here that we can just build. We can add this to the dynamic scene. And we have all kinds of different settings here to change things up. You can see we have a lower third down here. We can remove that, add it. We're getting that text. If we go back to our dashboard, it's gonna be right here. And we're gonna go to our profile, and it's gonna take your first name, your last name, your company, and your title or your position. And when we go back in there, you'll see what I mean. So we'll go to our dashboard. We're gonna go to our studio. Isn't that great? There we go. So now we're Michael Feyrer Jr., executive YouTuber. That's where you change those sorts of things. We can go into the brand settings, and of course we can remove our lower thirds. They have different styles. Very, very cool. We can add in our own logo, but on the free account, obviously, you cannot. You're going to use the EVMux logo. We can add in overlays from the gallery, video clips, and backgrounds. Very, very cool. And they do have galleries, so you can pick stuff. All this stuff is totally free, so you can add it in, and I'll show you a little bit more about that in a second. Video clips, same thing. You can add them in from a gallery, or you can upload your own. And backgrounds, same thing. You can add them in from the gallery, or you can upload your own. We'll get to that in a second. So if you just wanted to live stream on the fly, the dynamic scene works really pretty well. You can add your comments in just like all the other major stuff. You've got banners that you can have, and of course you can chat with the folks that you bring in as guests. That's all well and good, and what really makes EVMux stand out is the ability to create pro scenes. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna add a scene. We're just gonna call it countdown, and we can just add a countdown timer. You can see right down here, they have all that sort of stuff. So we'll just add one. Doesn't matter, whichever one we want. They're automatically ones that are created for us, which is awesome. Now we have a countdown timer created. It'll count down. We can add another scene. All right, let's take a look and see what we got here. Let's do a welcome scene. So let's just call this welcome. See what some of these look like. Let's try this one here, and we'll click create. And there we go. Welcome to the show. So we can basically modify any of the pieces of this. When you select them, it shows you which pieces you're referring to. So simple text, welcome. Simple text, starts. So we can delete that right there and modify it if we want. We can actually remove these lines to edit these up any way we want. And what I'm gonna do is we'll go ahead and add my camera to the scene, and this makes this so cool because I can just shrink it down here. Oh, you know, that looks pretty good, but I don't want it all the way up there. I want it all the way down here. So I can grab it right here, pull it down there, and now we're behind all the stuff. Maybe I want to be above the ribbon right there, but we want to be below the scissors. We'll bring the scissors up here, and apparently that ribbon is part of those scissors. So we'll put it down here, and there we go. So now we're all the way down here. And when we shrink up our screen, you can see that we have our lower thirds in there. If we don't like that, we can go right in here to our lower thirds and we can just disable the lower thirds. You click off of it and boom, there we go. We can go on here and round the corners on our image, which I think is really cool. You can add chroma. You can also make it transparent. You can change the dimensions, do lower thirds. We can crop it up. So if we wanted to crop this up, we can easily do that. Drag the corners however we want. So we can crop it like this. We can crop it like this. And there we go. We can move it up or move it down, and that's in relation to that. So there we go. So now we've got our image all whatever we want. Whatever we want. Very, very cool. That's what makes EV Mux so powerful, is the ability to go ahead and set these scenes up exactly how you want them. But let's add another scene. What we're going to do is we are just going to add an empty scene. So let's just call this main, and there we go. We can add our camera into the scene and go over here and add some dynamic stuff if we want. So we can add and remove our lower thirds. You can see we still end up with the situation like that, where we have it in here. We have to go up to this lower thirds and remove it right here. And there we go. We can set it up so this is designed any way we want. So let's say we wanted to play a video game that we have on our computer. Well, all we have to do is go down here to our share screen. We can grab it. We can select screen 2 and we can add screen 2 in here, and we can make it whatever size we want right there, and we'll shrink that up. We'll go over here to our layers, and we're going to move our screen just below our video, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to round up the corners on this video, shrink it up a little bit. There we go. So now we can add a game. We could play it in full screen on this monitor back here and project it to the audience. Really, really simple stuff. We can also do all the things we were able to do on the other ones. So we can add a simple banner with text. We can add a simple ticker, which will run along the bottom. Really, really cool stuff. We can also select comments from anyone who's in the chat. So this will be comments from any of the platforms that we're streaming to as well, because of course you can multi-stream with EV Mux to YouTube, Twitter, or Facebook. And you can bring those comments in right there, just like that. So the one thing is, we notice you're sharing a screen without an audio track. Sharing audio is supported, which means that you can share the actual game audio. So all you have to do when you go in here and share it is select the share system audio. And then you select the screen that you want to share. And then of course, you're going to get your game audio as well. Make sure you wear your headphones. So now we've got a really pretty awesome game scene. We can add as many scenes as we want to this. We can also share a video, so I can go in here and share whatever video I want. And when we want to bring it to the scene, let's create a new scene for our video. We're just gonna make it the default scene. We're gonna add our camera in here. We will shrink that camera up, and we're gonna go ahead and remove those lower thirds, because when we shrink our camera up, they get too small. We're going to round our corners again, and there we go. So now we've got our little camera in there. We want to do commentary on this puppy right here. So we'll go ahead and make this, you know what, let's not. Let's just move this over here, and we're going to move it behind us. So we want to move it down there. And there we go. So now we've got that going on. And you can play the video right here. Obviously, I have the situation where the audio is going through my speakers and run this to my headset, and I'd be wearing headphones. But it's pretty simple. All you have to do is go down here, click the play button. You can adjust the volume on the broadcast right here. And that's just the tip of the iceberg of what you can do on EV Mux. Where it really shines is with adding guests, and you can add up to 12 guests at a time, which is incredible. And that's not just on the paid version. That's on the free version. Now, in order to invite guests, all you have to do is go down here into the invite guest piece, And you can copy this out, you can email it, you can Gmail it, or you can send it through Facebook Messenger. I'm just gonna copy it out, send it to a couple of people, and add them so we can show you how awesome the guest ad sequence is. Okay, so now I have 3 people in here. Well, really only 2 people. I have this main camera, then I have this camera here, which is my laptop. I'm connected as a guest, and we have Michael Panetta joining us here. This is the beautiful thing. So I can add a new scene, but I don't have to go to the speaker scene if I don't want to. I can just create a blank scene, right? And you can do this with up to 12 guests. So I can add me, and then I can shrink me down. I can do whatever I want. Let's go up here and modify my lower thirds. We'll just make those smaller like that. I can put me wherever I want on the screen, and then I can add me again. I can do the exact same thing. You can see it says Michael's laptop. I can put me wherever I want on the scene. I can add Michael. I can adjust him and put him wherever I want on the scene. And then look at this. So I can add a new layer. I could go in here and I can select a media file. I can upload a new one. Let's go with this one here. I like this one. This one's pretty cool. We'll upload that, and it takes a couple seconds, but you know, all good things come to those that wait. We can go ahead and pop that in there. I can move this all the way down to the bottom, and I can add it like that. So now I can create my own scene with this. If I wanted to adjust lower thirds for everybody, I wanted to turn them down, whatever I want. So you see how I made Michael's lower third smaller. I can make this lower third smaller. I can adjust this infinitely, however I want. I can also go in here and do the same thing. I could round the corners on Michael's camera. So it's not just my camera that I can do this stuff on. I can do it on every single camera. I can make it transparent. You would just want to go ahead and create your scene and add them just like I did. Now we can add transitions to scenes. So we can go over here and we can select a stinger transition, and they have a bunch of them, which are pretty cool. Very, very cool actually. And then I uploaded one. It's a standard one that I use that actually has audio, and I can play that, and I can use the audio track, which is freaking awesome. What I'm going to do is go ahead and save that. Okay, so if we want to go live, we've got to go up to broadcast channels and decide which one we want to broadcast on. Then we're going to go ahead and add our broadcast account in here, and we're going to choose it. So we're going to change our privacy to unlisted, and we're going to add a title. This is going to be test, another test, and you can add more destinations, of course. You can go to more places. We're going to go ahead and save that out, and now we can go live to our channel. Ready to go live. All right, so we're going to go live, and we can set it to record, or we could do a local recording, which I think is just fantastic. So we're going to go ahead and start our live, and what I'm going to do is go ahead and open up YouTube. And you can see right now we are on the EV Mukes screen. That doesn't look like much. We need to go back in and see. So right here, this is showing our live and a preview. And so we need to go ahead and select this and go ahead and click on the transition. And there we go. We can add some chat in here, and we'll be able to see our chat right here. So we can put it up on our screen. So whatever we're going to go to next, we can put right here, and then we can just click on the transition, and there we go. Now the last thing I want to talk about is what this actually costs, because everything that I've shown you today is totally free. So let's click here to see the plan. You can see that you get EV Mukes Pro Scene Builder, the 5 gigabytes of storage, up to 12 on-screen participants, fully branded overlays and backgrounds. You can load all of those up yourself. Backstage mode, push to talk, full HD, right there. For free, 2 destinations to multi-stream, lower thirds, banners, tickers, integrated chats, on-screen templates, highlighted comments, virtual backgrounds, screen sharing, slideshows, and then of course it has streaming limits and the EV Mukes watermark. So you have to deal with the watermark, and here's the streaming limits. You can go live for up to 2 hours at a time, and you get a full 30 hours a month for free. with all of this stuff completely active at the top of here, what EVMukes gives you for free is crazy. And it really is. It really is. So for 20 bucks a month, which is less than a lot of the other companies' basic plans, well, you get unlimited streaming and they remove the watermark. I'm not sure what else you could want, but you get more destinations and a custom RTMP and a little more storage space. It's just incredible. Likes and comments are super easy things that you can do to help push this video to a wider audience. So take a second down below and let me know how I'm doing. And while you're there, if you're not subscribed, please do. It really does help me continue to make content that helps you. So thanks. Now I just want you to be aware that everything I showed you today is totally free. In fact, I don't have a paid account because I wanted to make that exact point. EVMukes has some incredible features to allow you to create a much more dynamic stream than any other browser-based live streaming tool. In fact, if there's any downside at all, it would be the lack of a browser source feature so you could add alerts to your stream. But none of the other browser-based live streaming apps really have those either, so you're not really missing it. And just like those other browser-based apps, you can acknowledge those alerts on the stream and even highlight the alert message, so it's really not that big a deal. There is no question that you get a lot more free with EVMukes than with any other browser-based live streaming app. It's actually pretty incredible. But let me know what you think. Is there something that you think is missing from EVMukes? I'd love to know about it in the comments. And if you want to see a showdown of all the other browser-based streaming apps, you should definitely check this video out. Big thanks to the sponsors that support this channel. You can find their links down below in the description under the heading sponsors. I couldn't possibly do this without them or you, so thanks. And if you're always looking for tools, tips, and tricks to help make you a better live streamer or YouTuber, subscribe to the channel. My name is Michael Feyrer Jr. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.